I should be able to deliver at least 10, 15 good kids into society every year is my philosophy.
Why choose to start a school? More so, you come from a background where your life is comfortable, where you have everything that somebody who starts in life wants.
Through this hassle of setting up a school from scratch is only because of my love for kids and passion towards education.
What is your view on using technology in school?
Now, before 5th, it's not necessary to use day for smart boards or screens for kids at all. Grade 5, it's not at all necessary. Mama, why am I spending so much time studying about geography and history, whereas my interest completely lies in numbers or architecture? I somewhere agree with him.
Whenever I see a child who's truly interested in one or two subjects, I really wish that they could spend more and more and more time only on that.
Is it such a bad idea that they do it for a start?
I think so. So I'm going to talk to Sanjana today. I find what Sanjana is doing very interesting. I'll tell you why. But Sanjana and I started chatting because Sanjana is looking to open a school. Actually, she has opened a school, which is going to open for kids and parents
Absolutely,
later this
on
year.
March 23rd.
March
23rd.
March 23rd. So we started chatting about the school, and Sanjana wanted more and more parents to know about the school, as anyone who would start a school would want. And I said, why don't you come? We'll sit and chat, and hopefully that chat is useful to parents. But what I find interesting, which is something that I want to ask Sanjana, is that why choose to start a school? More so, you come from a background where your life is comfortable, right? Where you have everything that somebody who starts in life wants. And I'll tell you why I haven't started a school, because it's a lot of effort. It takes your soul. If you
Absolutely.
want to run a school. So why? So tell us a little bit about yourself and why start a school?
So Harpreet, as you told, I come from a very, very comfortable background. Starting a school or going through this hassle of setting up a school from scratch is only because of my love for kids and passion towards education.
You have kids?
I do.
Okay.
I have a 13-year-old son.
13-year-old son. Congratulations.
Thank you. He's a teenager. So I don't think so.
Double
He should be
congratulations.
congratulating me.
Hang around.
Trying in a big way. So when I was growing up, I used to always think education was about marks, degree, and success. How much package you get, or how well you do in your life. But now I personally feel it should be a strong development of character also in the children. Because these kids spend so much time in schools. They spend 6 to 8 hours in schools, 5 days a week, and 15 years of their life in school. This responsibility falls on the shoulders of the school, that they create emotionally mature kids, not just academically successful kids. They should be emotionally mature to handle life problems, to be handling everything that is happening in their life.
Education is like
Not
both.
just marks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that I feel is somewhere lagging behind in these schools. And even though ours is a small setup, I should be able to deliver at least 10, 15 good kids into society every year is my philosophy.
So how many total kids in the school are going to be?
It's only going to be around 200 kids, Harpreet.
200 kids.
200
And
kids.
till what grade is it?
Grade 5.
Grade 5.
Yes.
Okay, 15, 20. That's a noble goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. I feel one extra kid also is compromise on the quality of education, what I'm promising for these parents. So I don't want to compromise on that. For the infrastructure I have right now, 200 kids is perfectly good.
And the name of the school is Westbrook International.
Westbrook International.
Okay. And so when you were speaking on the phone, you mentioned that you're going with IGCSE.
Yes.
Cambridge.
Correct. Cambridge.
Curriculum.
Correct.
So why choose Cambridge? And, did you look at others? Why did you end up with Cambridge?
I did look at others, Harpreet, but IB is very rigorous and research oriented. These Indian kids, especially these early secondary year kids, they still need little academic confidence, little structured discipline, and gradual exposure to analytical thinking. IGCSE provides that bridge very beautifully. It's not something, IB is like you are throwing the kids into too much of research in the very early stage. But IGCSE gives that structure. And if the kid is still doing well in IGCSE, they can always move on to IB also. That's why I chose IGCSE as the right foundation for my school.
I always thought of, I genuinely believe that different education systems work for different families.
Absolutely, especially in Indian households. See, CBSE, I would definitely suggest for parents who want their kid to attend IIT, JEE, UPSC, or NEET.
NEET, yeah.
NEET, because it follows NCRT textbooks, which is CBSE follows. So I would suggest if parents want Indian competitive exams, please go ahead with CBSE or ICSE, which is little, again, different compared to CBSE, but it has strong writing skills, which will be developed in ICSE. IB and IGCSE is mainly for kids who want to study abroad. But at IGCSE provides that strong foundation. Then if the kid is still excelling in that and he can do much better, maybe that time you can approach IB. But directly IB, I feel for our Indian kids is little bit of a struggle, little they are struggling to cope up with that kind of heavy research.
That could make sense. You know, my my view on this is I think IB also works if the family is okay with it, which is they are okay not to get uh, evaluation every 3 months, 6 months, but many Indian parents want that,
Want
and
that.
Cambridge does
Yes.
work there a bit.
Yeah, Cambridge works there. They're getting the international curriculum, but at the same time, they're getting some textbooks which they can understand, parents can understand. Yeah. But this is totally IB's unit of inquiry. So it is difficult for parents also to grasp. Now, if I sit with my 13-year-old kid, I struggle. I struggle to understand the concepts he's learning. I take the help of AI. At times, I'm like, okay, when he's asking some questions, I do take the help of AI. I studied in a CBSE curriculum. So it is difficult for us also to still get, and there are still not good teachers for IB in India. There are many IB schools that are coming up, but teachers are still not equipped to handle IB curriculum to their best capacity yet. We are definitely lagging behind in that part.
And I think different parts of the country are maturing in different ways, right? Like Bombay has more IB schools. Hyderabad, I'm saying in 10 more years, 5 more years.
Hyderabad is obsessed with IB curriculum.
Okay.
Obsessed with IB.
Yeah.
Delhi is obsessed with CBSE. Like that, every city have their own curriculums. Like, more number of schools are based out of it. But I personally chose IGCSE because, as I've mentioned you, it's a bridge. It's a good bridge, which I feel our Indian kids need.
And so tell me a little bit about, so you have a 13-year-old son, you have seen his education. What would you have wanted to go differently in the last 7, 8, 10 years of his education?
I wouldn't have wanted him to choose IB because I see him struggling a little bit right now with IB. And I want him to choose subjects of his choice much earlier because he likes numbers and architecture. And he's asking me questions like, Mama, why am I spending so much time studying about geography and history, whereas my interest completely lies in numbers or architecture? I, I somewhere agree with him that, their time is not being utilized full-fledged. You can keep little amount of time for the other subjects, and the subjects which spark their interest can take most of the time in the curriculum also, in the timetables also. So that is where I feel I could have done something different with him, but I won't get a school which provides that kind of selective subjects just yet. And this selection happens much later for these kids. It should happen much earlier. He's least interested when it comes to geography or history. He wants to just do his mental math or math and he wants to get on. So when it's not primary subject, that much amount of time he doesn't want to give. And I agree with him actually.
No, I think if what I've seen is that in general, interdisciplinary helps. Geography, like all subjects.
Just a limited amount of time.
Limited amount of time.
Weekly
Yes.
one class. Just they know, where India stands, where Asia, everything, that basic knowledge they have. He doesn't want to pursue geography or he doesn't want to have future in that. So it's little.
And then the other part is that if, whenever I see a child who's truly interested in one or two subjects, I really wish that they could spend more and
More
more and
time
more
in that,
time only
exactly.
on that subject.
Worksheets. He loves math. He loves that worksheets. He's like, give more of the worksheets. But he has history exam next day. Like, no, you have to do this. He's like, I don't want that. I'm not going to do anything in history. So we have heavy arguments at home, heavy discussions. Imagine a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh, the discussions are never ending.
Well, well. So what would you want parents of young kids in Hyderabad to know?
To know about my school?
To know about your school, to know a little bit about yourself. But in general, what would you want parents to know about children? I as a parent, I think, so I've been researching parenting for the past few years. If I could go back, there are like a few things I would change. Like our daughter went to daycare too early. If I could go back, I would absolutely change that. Like our daughter actually saw screen before the age of 2. Yeah.
I was about
So
to go there
yeah. So
actually.
so if I could go back and I knew what I knew, I would change that. Now that you have a 13-year-old son, you're also opening a school. What do you wish parents who come to your school, know about children?
We should avoid screen time for kids as much as possible. And screen time means all types of screen time. For 2-year-old kids or for teenagers, we should reduce the amount of time that these kids spend on screens. That is my major concern. With all, like, we should, all parents know. Initially, I also used to give him a lot of apps to play. There's word Scrabble and everything, but everything was an iPad. I think we should go back to the traditional paper pen with the tripod grip. Kids doing the Scrabble in that, or kids doing Sudoku in that. These are the things we should encourage the kids to, not on the screens. It
And
might
why do
be
you say so?
because less distraction. Kids today are too distracted, Harpreet. Too distracted is the word. They're living in the world of instant gratification. Let it be food, clothes, entertainment, everything is delivered to doorsteps in minutes. Even their favorite sport, which they're so passionate about, they don't have the patience to watch entire match. They just watch the highlights of the match. But isn't it better if you can live and enjoy every moment of the match?
Absolutely. I think it is better to play.
Play. Play
Yeah,
is the best
play
thing.
first.
Play
Play
first.
first, then
Yeah.
watch the full match,
Then
and
watch.
then dopamine
Exactly.
rush of
And that
highlights.
is how life also should be lived. Like, learn from successes, not take failures too hard, savor every moment rather than scroll like a highlight or a reel. That's what these kids are doing now, Amrit. Because of the screens, what we've given them in an early age, there's only living in instant world. So that is what I want all the parents to know, myself also to know. I was a very young mother. I was 23 when I had him. So I feel I could have done much better now if the exposure I have now, the knowledge I have now. I think I could have been better at many things.
You're going to do that through the school.
Absolutely. That is what I'm trying for my school.
Mm, very cool. And what is your view on using technology in school? A lot of parents complain that schools are the one who end up using groups or giving homework, and my child got used to mobile because of school work. So, what do you think about that?
I think we should cut down on the amount of homework being given on screens after school. You do a group activity that too after fifth grade. Now, before fifth, it's not necessary to use day for smart boards or screens for kids at all. After fifth, a group activity, and that also should be in the school with limited amount of time, where they use the desktop and finish it. They should not be given homeworks after they don't. We don't know what they're accessing because of the in the name of homework. We don't know what they're doing exactly with the screen and the internet being given to them. We can at least control them if they don't have any after homework, after school activities. My son shuts his door at 9 p.m. He has his laptop inside. I tell him, please give him your laptop. I'll put it in my room. He doesn't do that. He's like, I have some last 15 minutes of homework. I'm like, show the homework. He's like, you'll anyways not understand. It's my research work. So I'm not able to say anything to him because I'm not able to I remove his phone. I give him phone only on weekends, on Saturday and Sunday. Monday to Friday, it's in my room. Laptop, I'm not able to do the same thing, Harpreet, because he has work he's telling on them. So completely at least cut off giving work on screen activities after school activities. In that way, we can cut down the amount of time they spend on screens.
And definitely for less than grade 5.
Grade 5, it's not at all necessary.
The one thing that I'm hearing from you again and again is that you have a lot of focus for physical work to be done by
Yes.
children. And that is something that at
Physical,
least
like
I am a big believer of, which is that we are all biological beings. Our senses need to be used. If we
motor
only
skills, the
use
motor
our
skills of the kid.
mind,
Yeah.
eyes, ears, and that's it being used, that I'm saying basically dysregulates us. Even if we sit down to watch a Netflix series and we watch 3, 4, 5 in one go because it is so addictive, at the end of fifth episode, you don't feel good about yourself. Right? You want to go for a walk, you want to go outside.
Because we understand what is wrong we are doing, why we are feeling lethargic after watching some. But kid doesn't understand that. A 13-year-old
Well,
kid,
their brain is being developed in that manner
and
and they
they're
will
like,
get used to
why is mama shouting? Why does she want me to go out? I'm enjoying, I'm chilling at home. Why does why is she pushing me to do this? We will understand. But kids are not understanding that.
it. No, I agree with you. And thank you for being, real about your struggles also as a parent. I think
Yeah,
because in every house, in every home, parents go through the same thing
absolutely.
and find solutions to try and minimize screen time, get children out to play.
I've tried everything. Trust me, I've tried everything. I put my password for his laptop. I've done everything. I'm always the bad cop in me and my husband. So I've done everything possible. I've removed his PS5 station. I've hidden his games. Oh, everything is there. But somehow he finds a way.
Somehow find the way.
He finds a way.
But does he go out to play daily?
Yes. He's a football fanatic, so he does. He does.
That is good.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. And I make sure he works out also. I make sure he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and 5 to 6 he works out weekly 3 to 4 times a day. 4
Right.
times a week, sorry.
That is very cool.
But he doesn't enjoy that.
Then enjoy that. You force him to do it.
What I force him to do, he feels.
Yeah.
Like, baby, when you work out, your game is going to improve. Even though his game has improved, he doesn't want to say, yes, mama, because of you, I'm doing it. Because of you, my game has improved.
So what will happen if you go back today and say, okay, I'm not going to wake you up. If you want to wake up, you wake up.
He'll wake up for his school time. He'll not wake up for the urgent.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
It doesn't come naturally. That's why it hurts for me. It should come naturally. It should come naturally. It should be like said in school more, like enough number of times in school that, physical activity, so that it comes from school, from my side, all different side it comes, it'll impact him better. Otherwise, it's only mama telling. My school is asking me to nicely spend time on laptop, do activities on laptop. Mama is the one telling me to put a paper, pen and write down, you learn better. Mama is the one telling always. So when it comes from school, these ideas, the kids listen a lot more. When it comes from the class teacher, they listen a lot more. When they see their friends doing, they listen a lot more. So we don't need to be a bad cop always.
Hmm. So in your school, actually, you'll help the parents not be the bad cop.
Absolutely, Harpreet. Absolutely. I don't mind. We're going to tell your ma'am, Sanjana ma'am, you better do. I love that. I love that kind of discipline. I'm a strong believer in discipline.
This is interesting. He spoke about it on the phone as well. So what do you think about discipline? Like, earlier many parents used to hit children, scold children loudly. Is that discipline? What is your view on discipline?
You saw this movie Karate Kid, no, Harpreet? Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan.
I think so.
It's the first episode, first part. In that, Jaden Smith walks inside and he wants to train with Jackie Chan. He dumps his jacket on the floor and he tells to Jackie Chan, start training me. Jackie Chan just looks at the jacket and with Jaden Smith's straight face, he says, pick up the jacket and put it on the hanger. This is the only practice he makes Jaden Smith do for the next 30 days. That's the only practice, nothing. He doesn't teach him anything else. That is discipline according to me. If these kids have a sports session, let's say at 6 o'clock, reach there by 5:45. Exchange pleasantries with your coach. Do self-stretches. Put your bag, shoes, water bottle in the proper place. That is discipline. In school, at home also similarly, when you wake up, do your bed. Say good morning to your parents. Don't take them so granted. Make up your bag. That is discipline. And answering to your question about raising hand, I'm personally not a fan of raising hand. At the same time, Indian households are different. In our household, first hand raises and then only people talk. For example, my mom used to hit me when I was growing up. When I misbehaved or when my grades were not up to the mark, my mom used to hit me. But I don't have any resentment towards my parents for that. I feel the person I am today is because of that. But same kind of practice will not work with my son. He will start avoiding me. He will start disliking me. He'll start disrespecting me if I even think of raising my hand. So the key is here finding the right practice for you and your child. Because in Indian households are completely different. That is the key.
So, it is interesting. My personal view is that discipline comes through freedom. Yeah. So when somebody is given freedom, then discipline emerges as a result of it. And the discipline that emerges from freedom is a discipline that you can continue, right? Because it's something that you want to do yourself. And it has become, so for example, the example of a child getting up in the morning at 5. If he would want to get up himself, that will be such a beautiful thing. Like you will have tears of joy.
Exactly. So it's been 6 months, Harpreet, since he's doing. I'm hoping if I make him and do more number of times and over a period of time, once he starts seeing the results of it, he will start loving it. That's why I'm trying to give him that structure of wake up, even though he'll not like waking up. Once he starts enjoying, see, when I started working out, I used to hate myself. I used to hate that my husband was pushing me to go, or my parents used to tell. But after a year, once I started seeing the results, now I can't stay a day away from gym. I have to work out. I have to be there. I feel that's what I want to do with my son also. At least for the next 3-4 years, when he's with me, if he gets used to this kind of routine where he wakes up and sees his body and his friend's body, and he sees the difference in himself, once he starts noticing the difference, once he starts enjoying the beauty of that, he will want to do it, right? So that is discipline, right?
Mhm. No, I think discipline can have positive results without doubt. You need discipline to do anything in life, right? Without discipline, I'm saying you won't land anywhere. You will give up. You know? The only thing being if discipline happens with the will of the child. Now, the I think one thing which has made parenting difficult is this access to junk food, screens
Instant
all
at
the
home.
time. For example, if your son actually slept at 9, he will wake up at 5 and 6 and go.
Yeah.
But for that, I'm saying there is the laptop and there are
There's a
so many
lot
other
of this
distractions. Everybody
distractions.
else in the house is awake,
Yes.
right? So, let me put it this way. I think 50 years ago, discipline could automatically emerge from freedom. Now, you need to have a certain set of rules within which
Little
the child,
structure,
a little
Harpreet.
structure
Structure
for the
for the
child
kids.
to operate,
Yes.
within which the child should feel free to do whatever the child wants.
Absolutely.
So, for house, for example, it'll be getting up time, playing down time, study time, sleep time.
That's what I've told. No, gym also it's weekly 3 times. So the remaining 2 days he gets up at his own pace, and when he's wearing a t-shirt or a shirt, I'm telling, see your body how it's growing, how different it's going to be. You'll enjoy it. What the kids who you there are like 10% of the kids for whom you give freedom, still they lead a disciplined life. But the remaining 90% of the kids need little structure, need
So
little
I'm just
pushy.
saying that actually all kids can develop discipline through freedom. The problem that is happening there is this agenda of the world, which are the screens and yeah, you go now on the road, like you were chatting. 10 years ago, I'd gone to Hyderabad, a simpler place. Now, there is a pub at every corner, there is a fashion shop at every corner. There in Bombay, where we're sitting, I'm saying ads everywhere. We'll step out, the only thing we'll see are ads. There is distraction everywhere. For example, if you will notice, earlier people used to wear colorful clothes. Okay. Now people want to wear subtle clothes. We want our homes to be calming. Why is that? Because the color outside has increased
And the
so much.
noise outside has
Has
increased
increased
so
so
much that
much.
you
We
want
want
peace at
some
home.
peace at home.
Yes, absolutely.
So, like our homes have changed. Similarly, a little bit of structure to bring out discipline helps, right? And a school has to ensure the right amount,
Yeah, because
not
the
too
time
much,
spent
not
so
too less.
much is in school, Harpreet. We are getting hardly an hour in the day with the kids. If you see, they're coming at 3:34. Then they have some after school activities. Night we get 7 to 8 p.m. with the kid to ask him how his day was, how to tell how our day was and everything. So this has to come from school majorly. uh, my school, Touchwood, was very good school. They were very strict with us. We have to have proper oil, proper two plates, and we have to get up whenever teacher walks in. We have to address our seniors in this school as Bhaiya or Didi. And now also when I meet my principal after 25 years, when I meet my principal outside, I get up in. My instant response is get up and say, hi ma'am, how are you?
But I'm just saying, that is actually in some ways coded inside you.
Because of the school.
But it is a very, essentially, that I am totally against in the sense of you have to be dressed like this. You have to get up. You have to get up and say, good morning, madam. Right?
But that is respect, no, Harpreet.
Respect, I don't think comes from saying what one says. Respect comes from within. And
Respect towards elders is built within us now.
respect for elders, which is
For elders and even for helping staff also, we used to be very respectful back then.
No, I agree. So helping staff, like the thing is this: if a child feels in control of life, if a child is respected itself, like if we show respect towards the
But
child,
we are showing Harpreet in
I'm saying
every
not this doesn't. I agree with you. I'm saying wo to in many homes what is happening is
our parents, we
whatever
didn't give her that much respect. We are giving
no,
so much.
absolutely, absolutely.
My mom never made me sit down and ask, how are you feeling, sir? How was your day? She used to beat if you're not going, but I'll move on next time. I still ask him every day, how was your day, baby? How are your friends? Are you having any trouble at school? How is, because he's hormonal, he's a teenager. How is it going? But we didn't have anything back then. We turned out very good.
She depends. Yeah.
I think we turned out very
Uh-huh.
good.
So the like this idea of getting up to greet a teacher because it is compulsory, right? Like I don't believe in it all. Um, one should feel like greeting your teacher. In the school our daughter goes, they basically don't say teacher. They actually call the teacher by name. The principal's name is Geeta. So they'll say, Geeta, I cannot talk to you. You know, can you come please help me with this? So uh, I am in that camp that the respect should come from within. Respect is not about calling someone madam or sir or anything else. Respect is about feeling equal with each other. You know, both with the principal and both with the staff, both with my father and mother and with my younger siblings. Not feeling I am bigger than you or they are bigger than me. The idea being that, okay, we are all learning, we are all in this world, and we can all listen to each other, and then we can all decide what we want to do with our life.
You told no when I told about my dad asking me to start a small setup. Listening to him doesn't mean I'm giving up my freedom of choice, or I'm something is inculcated in me that I have to listen to him. It was a wise decision. Me respecting him, that's all. That respect doesn't mean you have to get up every time my father walks and I don't, but I respect him a lot. Same with teachers also. Getting up is just a form for their age, is what I meant. They're older. And helping staff. We at our school, we used to be so decent towards the helping staff. We used to address them Ayamma. We used to be very, very courteous towards them. That is lagging behind now. There is no respect for elders. And if they are being respectful, also other kids don't consider it cool enough. This kid is not considered cool enough. If he answers his mama's call and says, Mama, I'm here, I'll be home in 15-20 minutes, gives an update to the parents is not considered cool. Rather than not answering the call, mama's finding out where the kids are, hanging out, just putting
So
the phone on
teenage, look,
silent.
teenage anyways is tough, yeah, or can be tough. I think if you ask me, this is I think less about discipline and more about connection, which is that which is what is happening with most of our children's life, which like you said, most of the time is spent in school. जब हमें समय ही नहीं मिलता है
To
तो
connect and
to
bond with
connect,
them,
right?
understand what is
And
going
then
on.
I am more bonded to everybody around me. Then why would I want to pick my mother's call and say, Mom, I'll be home
I'll
in
be
15.
home, yeah,
Yeah.
15-20 minutes. Or, how are you, mama? Okay, I'm good, mama. That's all not so.
Also, teenage is a hard time because the child is actually wanting to separate from the home and be their own selves, be independent, while they are actually still not fully ready for it. So yeah, but I think your idea of discipline, my idea of discipline are a little bit different.
They vary.
They vary.
They vary.
But they also, and when I speak about parenting, my idea is not to say, hey, what I'm saying is right and you should follow that.
No,
The
Arpit, I told key is finding the right balance, what works for you and your child.
You and your child.
Every household is
And
different. Every
understanding that
parenting is different.
every interaction that we do with the child leaves an impact on the child.
Absolutely.
Right. And hence,
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the child should feel very loved. I always give this example. If he makes a mistake, let's say anything, any kind of mistake, his first call should be to the parents. He should not, he should say, no, Mama, what do I do out of this? Mama, can you come save me? Mama, I did this mistake. Please help me. Let's figure it out together. It should not be, it should not be like, if I tell my parents, they're going to be upset with me. Let me hide and resolve it by myself. That should not be that. That is bad parenting. Anything, any which way. Our first phone call from our kids' first phone call should be to parents if they're in any kind of trouble. At least till the age 18, 21, at least we should be their
a
first
parent,
emergency
a
contact.
child should know that no matter what happens, my parents are
Have their
there.
back, they have my back.
Have
Exactly.
my back, right?
That's what I said.
And I think this mistakes are like if a young child should feel that mistakes are a part of life. And if you ask, there is nothing that one can achieve without making mistakes.
Not at all.
Right? All the inventions that have been done because of all the mistakes that they have made, all the tries that they have done unsuccessful.
Exactly.
What is the mistake? It is an unsuccessful attempt.
Correct.
Right? So after only doing
They
unsuccessful
should not
attempts
be
will become
scared of
successful.
failure also.
Absolutely. And that is a place where I genuinely believe a school can help.
Yeah.
That if a child is doing something, let the child make a mistake, let the child self-correct, and let the child, become forward. When I actually talk to parents, I speak a lot about that. We always think about school हमारे बच्चे को क्या बना देगा, but actually, choose a school where the words you said, everybody is at least loving to the child.
Exactly. We have a lot of smart people, Harpreet, in the world. We need little more kind people. We definitely need kind people.
I'll do with both smart plus kind.
Then you found the secret recipe.
So
Yeah. So that's what, as I've told you, that school plays a major role in all of that. And I love my school for whatever I am today is because of my mom, my school, and everything. And I have a lot of gratitude towards them for that.
very cool. That
Yeah.
works for your family.
Yes. I hope my son also feels that way about me somewhere down the line. He doesn't
That
say
is the hope.
that is a hope, fingers crossed. That is the biggest hope. He thinks, okay, my mom is phone call away. My parents are phone call away. Anything I can share with them, they're going to be there for me. And I want to be there for few of my students, at least, if not all of them, at least few who we connect over the years, who keep in touch. I would want to be there for them. In a mentor, you were talking about your mentor who stays in Bangalore. Yeah, so few things, what parents can't, mentors can. When I've seen the kids spend so much time in school, I know the kid better than the parents at times. So I can be of
I
help
think
for
the
them.
more the number of loving adults our child has in their life,
Exactly.
the more successful they can be.
Emotionally very strong kids we need to raise, Harpreet. That is a hope.
No, I think, like you said, I'm saying get them to put effort in school, get their hands used,
Right. Tripod you
give
make
them all
strong.
the
Distractions.
reduce
Reduce
love you
the
can.
distractions. Yeah.
And yeah,
They're inventing themselves at every junction, I feel, right now. So we should provide them a peace space to grow without their mistakes being recorded on social media, is what I feel.
This is, I think one thing that school should avoid, which is recording and trying to put kids on
Exactly.
Instagram.
Yeah. I think we should follow Malaysia, Spain, Australia, now Karnataka also just 2 days back, and ban complete social media for kids below 16. Mehar. That is stunning their emotional and mental growth. Randomly, forget about a mistake, Harpreet. Randomly, these kids post a random story on Instagram, let's say. It doesn't align with some random strangers' ideologies. Immediately, these kids are bombarded with negative comments. So much hatred. They're not able to take it. I've seen it happen to a few of my close friends' kids. They just posted about whatever flight they were.
Whatever came to their mind.
Whatever came to their mind. They were sitting in a flight, they clicked the photo, and that kid's page was open profile. So this random one guy started telling that you rich kids are spoiled and everything. He was joined in minutes by the time they landed in a 4-hour flight, Harpreet. He was joined in minutes by 40, 50 people talking about how spoiled red. That kid started crying as soon as they landed. He deactivated his Instagram account. Mom was worried. So they're not emotionally equipped to handle this kind of.
No, I think what Karnataka has done is very beautiful. It
Absolutely.
is
I
absolutely
really hope
required.
Telangana takes the steps, and I hope India takes that step aggressively, that no social media for kids below 16. It's not necessary.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, less technology before grade 5.
Yeah, there is a research going on where neuroscientists are coming up telling that technology below 5 is stunning their mental development, brain development, I mean. So they're
Right.
not
I'm saying, like you said, right? I'm saying technology ke karan, there are distractions and you don't end up focusing on learning.
correct.
And you end up getting distracted and going into various directions. So actually in multiple countries in Europe where they move to edtech, laptops and iPads in classroom, they've now spent money to take all of that away
Sweden is doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Sweden has
And-
just changed and they've come off into this.
and bring books back.
Bring books back. AI also, Harpreet, AI also should be banned in a big way for kids, actually. There was recently one episode in California in August 2025. There was this 16-year-old kid who was using AI initially for just assignments and homeworks. Later, he started telling AI about his feelings. It became his personal confidant, like, I'm feeling very low. I don't feel like going to school today. I'm not able to make friends. I'm not able to communicate with my parents. And then the kid comes up something like, I lost the zeal to live. So can you come up with ways to end my life? This AI, this bot, instead of terminating the session or giving emergency helpline numbers or initiating a protocol to inform parents or teachers, it came up with ways to end his life. Unfortunately, this kid went ahead and committed suicide. And it's very, very sad that the kid couldn't make out difference between a bot and a human being. A therapist or a psychologist wouldn't have told
No,
the kid this.
whatever we spend time with, we will fall in love with. And we'll form a
It
connection.
didn't understand the difference between a bot and a human being. That's a bot. It's
No,
existing.
this is the world we are going to actually not land into. This is the world we
We're
are
living
in.
We're living in, yes.
right?
We're living in.
And if we are, and this is what makes parenting harder. This is
Very
what
hard.
makes running a school harder, Some of my friends are now opening boarding schools rather than day schools, 5-day boarding schools, because parents are saying we are unable to control technology in our house. So please keep the child for 5 days
5 days, yes.
and we can
Weekends
release the
handle,
child.
yeah.
It is not an ideal situation, but if a parent is busy, then this is better than the child sitting alone at home and talking to an AI.
Yeah. See, Harpreet, these parents, they didn't understand what happened with the kid. They were searching through Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp. They were trying to find clues. What? Last, their search was this chat GPT. Yeah. They were shocked. It became like a personal suicide coach. First attempt itself, successful attempt. How to do. That was the AI answers for that.
No,
It's
absolutely.
very sad.
It is, we have to find time for our children to be surrounded by loving adults. So, all these companies which are trying to sell AI personalized toys, etc., for children, like my hope is parents don't get on that bandwagon and keep children rooted in the physical world as much
As
as you
possible,
can.
yes.
As you can.
And maybe that will also put a ban for the AI for 16 years and then later give access. When I went to my son's PTM meeting, she was like, "Ma'am, I'm also surprised with his marks." I said, "Why?" "Ma'am, because whatever assignments I gave at home, he came up with absolutely stunning answers." Later, understood for history. Later, I understood he was using ChatGPT, ma'am, your son. It's becoming crazy for parents and teachers to assess the kids also because of AI. We're not understanding what is their own research. They can type things like, it should sound like a 13-year-old kid research. It should sound like me. They're typing things like this.
I think, by the way, the beautiful thing about this is that now a child will only learn if a child wants to learn, right? Because if I do not want to learn, I have a ready-made answer from somewhere that I can give you and you will not find out. So I think that is the beautiful thing about it, which I hope parents understand, that anybody who's going through education without learning, which most of us did, right? Like I was not a serious student till I got to grade 11 and then started preparing for IIT somehow and got through. Usse pehle, I used to only get 60-65%.
And you were an IIT Bombay graduate.
I'm thinking
Very hard to believe.
because I studied for 1.5, 2 years and I studied well because it came that yes, I
Naturally,
have
it
to
came
do
to
it.
you.
Well, I genuinely believe discipline comes through freedom. Like it is my personal lived. This parenting research that I'm doing has also come after 3 years of loitering around and not doing anything. So, and now I'm genuinely dedicated to it. Like I genuinely believe in it. Um, but yes, I am an adult who can do it. At that time also, my parents did set the right environment. For example, there were a few of my friends, and there was one friend which my mother pointed out saying, please don't spend a lot of time with him. Because my mother understood at that time that he came from a business family who had a shop. And so this boy was free all the time, right? Because he was clear, मुझे तो दुकान पे बैठना है. I have to sit on the shop, right? And my mom said, look, your father does not have a business. You have to go and do something yourself in your life. So please meet him less. He's free all the time. I could not understand this as a child. It was only when my mother pointed it out to me, I could
They come from a
understand it. So I
different
think,
background, so stay away.
different as in, like, it is clear what the child wants to do. But if you spend time with him and do not study or do not think about what you want to do, he will go to his shop. Where will you go?
That's what they say, Harpreet, you surround yourself with 5 smokers, you will become a 6th smoker. How you surround your friends also is very important. You surround yourself with 5 entrepreneurs, you'll be the 6th entrepreneur. You surround yourself with 5 good people, you're the 6th good person. Where kindness becomes common in the 5th, if you're the 6th good human being. Same thing entrepreneur, same thing education-wise also. You surround yourself, I'm not telling you should not talk with a kid who has bad marks.
Absolutely.
You should talk, you should make friendship, but spend little more time with the one who is doing well, because that's where you want to achieve. That's where you want to go. You help this kid in also get into that circle of yours. The studying, pushing.
The important part being the kid wants to go there.
Kids want to go there, yeah. That is important in every place, actually. I was talking about the gym, right? He also wants to go, but my son doesn't want to put the work. He wants the end result. He doesn't want to put that push.
That pushes
He
it.
also has 50%. Otherwise, I can't make him lift weights and put in his hand and do arms, right? He's doing it. Just the waking up part, we need to push. So he wants to do. I'm just providing the path. That's it.
You mentioned 3-4 times about writing. Yes. Right. I hear a lot of parents write to me that the school is forcing the child to write. A 4-year-old, 5-year-old. What do you think about that?
Force is a very huge word. I think we should encourage the kids to write more. It helps with the tripod grip. It helps with their hand-eye coordination. It helps with their level of concentration on the work. If you're typing Harpreet, before you correct the word,
So then wait. Then I'm saying we are on the same page in the sense of a kid should write instead of type.
absolutely.
At least up to grade 5.
Yes.
Okay, that I'm on the same page on. But a school should not force kids to write.
No.
Right. I believe like essentially writing is development of the wrist strength, right, and development of my mind as well. The more the kids play in sand with toys, the more kids use their fingers and wrists, do crochet, do other
Physical
work,
activity, any form
physical
of physical
activity,
activity.
the better their grip will be and the more they would want to write.
Yes.
You should pick this book, Punished by Rewards,
Absolutely. That will be my first reading.
before 23rd.
I'll try to finish before 23rd. And I should make it I should make my teachers also read this.
Uh, yes,
That's
I
very
will recommend a
important.
few other books also. There's a book called Free to Learn.
Hmm.
I, so Free to Learn, Summerhill, um, yeah, and Punished by Rewards. Punished by Rewards, I think, थोड़ी heavy है. But these 3 books I would highly recommend reading. Definitely.
Well, definitely,
So you should pick it up. See what you
I
what you
will
think about
definitely,
them.
and I would
And
suggest for my staff also to pick
I
them
would love to chat as your thoughts emerge after reading it.
up. Definitely. So at Westbrook International, my school, we've come up with a comprehensive test for the teachers, where we have come up with 5, 6 real life scenarios. We're not just looking at their academic qualification. We came up with this 5, 6 scenarios like suddenly a child becomes quiet in the class. This very active child. How do you approach that subject with the parents? And you observe a child having kleptomaniac tendencies. How do you tell this to their parents without offending the parents? What is your remedy for this? All these 6, 7 scenarios we came, there's no right or wrong answer here. We just wanted to see what is the teacher's approach to that. If they meet our standards and if we feel like, this is how we are going to handle the situation, then only we're hiring the teachers.
No, I think this is beautiful. Not looking only for
Not,
academic
not
criteria,
at
but
all.
looking for the nature of the
Nature, personality of the teacher, it's very, very important, especially class teacher. The personality plays a huge role on the kids. If the teacher, I told you, these situations, we can gauge a person. At least we can get 20 to 30% of understanding of this person. If they match my ideologies, only we are hiring them.
This when parents think about what school to choose for my child, what board to school, and I say you should definitely spend time on understanding how children learn, right? And you should spend time on understanding the different boards and their philosophies. That's why I made this course, right? How to select a school for a child. At the same time, please remember that the person who's going to matter is the teacher who physically interacts with your child. And so, can you go meet every teacher? You cannot. So then, who will matter? I am saying the founder of the school or the principal of the school will matter because they are deciding which teachers to hire.
Exactly.
Right. So, and then it becomes as simple as that. So you understand how children learn, so that you can choose the right school. You understand which board, which curriculum works for your house, so you can choose a school within that, and then you go meet and see, oh, does this person who's running the school match the same values that I want for our child? And so then they will hire the same teachers. Like the process you
The
have,
process we
is a
came
good
up with,
process.
good process. That test is really helping us, Harpreet, because there was a teacher with 15 plus years experience.
But you see the answer is no, we can't.
Exactly, the answer was little scary for myself.
Yeah.
For myself, only the answers were a little scary. I'm like, no, no, no. Let's skip her. Her academic qualification is outstanding. But this comprehensive test, what she first declined to answer these questions. She's like, no, I don't want to answer. I have so much experience. Why should I answer? And yours is a new school and everything. I said, no, you want the job, you have to answer this question. Her answers and me, I was like, this person is doing this can't work. This will never work. That's why I told you, why choose my school means this kind of teacher selection will not happen in big schools where they're playing with the number game. I'm not playing with the number game. I'm not doing the school just for monetary gains. I'm doing it purely out of my love for the system, for my son, for being able to do something about it, not just raise my voice. I have the luxury to do a change about it. So I can do the change. So that's why in this teachers selection process also, I'm properly involved in that. Even though I have an academic director, we sit every day. The teachers are coming. It's not easy.
So when a parent admits their child to your school, they stay there for a few years and then right now grade 5, what should a parent expect to see in their child? What should they expect from their child to become because of the school they're sending them to?
Not just academic excellence, Harpreet. We will be strongly working on 5 qualities in each and every kid of our school. First will be integrity. doing the right thing when no one is looking, empathy, being respectful towards people who have nothing to offer to you, and courage, taking stand for what is right or wrong, and discipline. That is, we're putting in the hard work when necessary, and gratitude. Have the gratitude for every opportunity they've been given. We at Westbrook, we want to be able to deliver good human beings into the society. That is, if we are able to do at least 10, 15 good human beings into the society every year, our mission and my mission of setting up school is perfect.
Very cool. Like I said, running a school takes your soul. So I wish you're able to do
I
uh,
wish,
and get it done for the next few years.
yes.
All the best.
Thank you so much.